It's Johnny! Well, guess what we're making today? Well, if you saw the title card, you already know what we're going to make. But just in case, I'm going to tell you again. We're making elderberry syrup. I'm down to my last pint. So it's time. I know I've been talking about it forever. And before the flu season is over with, I probably should show you how Johnny here makes his own elderberry syrup. Now you can buy it online, and you might be able to find it in a local co-op or farmer's market. Some of the stuff online may contain the elderberry, but they may not have the other stuff. And they may also use high fructose corn syrup instead of honey. Now the honey, the organic, real honey, is a huge factor in the elderberry syrup because it has its own healing capacity that has been used for thousands and thousands of years. So it's a good thing to add to your elderberry syrup. Now just to tell you that you add the honey last when it's cooled down a bit, because you don't want the boiling process to kill off all the enzymes in the honey. So you're going to need some things for this. You're going to need a pot. You've seen my pot. Everybody has a pot. Well, maybe not everybody has a pot, but you can get a pot at, a box store, any place. And you need a bucket. You know why you need a bucket? Because on this bucket, get it around here, it says elderberry bucket. This is my elderberry bucket. It has a lot of the ingredients I need to make my basic elderberry. We have, for our components, we have, this has ginger. Now the best way to do it is to do the ginger root. I have some ginger root. Did I get it prepared for this video? No, I did not. I have some in the freezer. Did I thaw it for this video? No, I did not. I even bought some fresh ginger. Did I chop it up for this video? No, I didn't. Because I'm lazy. I use star of anise. I bought star of anise. I bought a big bag of it. Usually in the store, it comes in these tiny little bottles. I might even have one around. So this is a big bag. I don't need a lot of it. Another ingredient is rose hips. I never knew much about rose hips until I was starting to use it for my elderberry. But I got a big bag. Matter of fact, I got a bunch of big bags. And you can buy it in bulk. It's a big deal. Now another thing you can use, or I use, is cloves. In fact, I saw a thing online that someone takes an orange and takes these cloves and you stick it all over the orange, almost like it looks like that corona cell virus thing or something like that. But I got a big bag of cloves. I have stuff on my thing for cooking every day, but this way I have everything I need in a bucket. Now the other thing is cinnamon. These are cinnamon sticks. You could do cinnamon sticks, which is a better way to go. Or you could do the cinnamon powder. I might do the sticks today. Now this is Saigon cinnamon. I imagine it comes from. I don't think they really grow cinnamon in the U.S. It only says it was packed in the U.S. It doesn't actually say where it comes. But I would suggest that if it says Saigon on it, it means it came from there. Now the other thing to have is, of course, the vital element is the elderberry. Now when I bought these bags, I had bought 10 bags of elderberry, and they were $10 a bag. Now that was a while ago. It might have been even, oh, it was probably good 8, 9, maybe even 10 years ago. So I guess now that they're $25 a pound, doesn't seem all that unusual. It is something that's grown in the U.S. You can grow them yourself, elderberries, and pick them yourself, which is a cool way to do it. You're probably gonna need a lot of bushes, or maybe just 2 bushes are enough. But I guess you could do them as a hedge. So in all reality, it's just another shrub in your yard. How many shrubs in your yard produce this stuff that you can eat? And how many don't? Something that I want to do with my yard is to put more fruit-bearing shrubs in my yard that'll grow. Maybe this year. It's an interesting choice, you know. I think I'm probably not going to use the whole pound. I'm going to see how it does by using a half a pound. That's all these other ingredients in it. I probably have enough of everything to make a pretty good thing. Because it takes... Now the other thing that I got, he says, please do not look under the bag. Now when I got this, when I looked at it online, it didn't look like it was a very big bag, but look at the size of this bag. So this is dried spearmint leaves. I'm going to try putting this into my elderberry. It has some nice healing properties. Everybody knows about, you know, mint tea. And it's a great ground cover because if you plant it in your yard, it'll take over everything. A growing tip is if you don't want it to take over everything, you take a bucket, like a Home Depot bucket, or any bucket, you cut the bottom off, and you plant the bucket, and you plant your spreaders in that, and then you can control how much they're going to spread, because the roots travel underground, and then they come up in another location, just like poison ivy. Though we don't plant poison ivy intentionally. Or do we? So this is a pretty big bag. It was different choices, like getting it in a regular spice jar. But this was probably around the same price as the spice jar, and I got more. Ooh. Ooh. That smells good. And it's actually pretty fine. So I'm going to put some of this in there. So let's get started. Now the other thing, of course, you need is water. My suggestion is that you fill it up about halfway, and then so it doesn't, you know, bubble over or anything, and you put it on low flame and you let it simmer and let it go down, and then you add more water and you let it go down, and you might do that a few times. You know, you just want to keep trying to get as much of that elderberry juice out of those berries, because you're not going to have them in your final product. It's not like you're going to get to chew on them like you do in blueberry jam, or, you know, my jam that I have that has the blueberries, cranberries, and cherries. You still get to eat the pulp. But in this, you don't do that. Everything gets strained off. Now, I've thought about like layering a thing of cheesecloth in there, making a big ball, pulling the ball out. It doesn't quite work as well. It was a nice idea. You just have to go back and strain it later. So you'll need another pot. I have another pot, a couple of them, and a big bowl. So between those, I will, you could strain it into cheesecloth. But I'll show you. I'll show you down the road. And so right now, we're going to start putting ingredients in. So let's start with the elderberry. See if I can. Looks about right. I got a bunch of air out of that package before I seal the Ziploc. So we're going to use a couple of sprigs. Now, if you're planning on making a tea afterwards, I'm gonna put in some powdered cinnamon too, just for the fun of it. Now, one of the things that you can do is, after you've strained all of this stuff, you could spread it out onto a sheet, like a dehydrator sheet or just a cookie sheet. Spread it all out nice and thin, let it dry, break it up and bag it. And then you could use it later as a tea, in like a tea ball or a little thing of cheesecloth, and throw it into your teapot. Do people even have teapots anymore? Well, I have a teapot. Somebody broke my cover for it, so I have to use something else. But so these are the rose hips. This is what a rose hip looks like. Doesn't look like much, does it? It's the part of the rose you throw away once the petals are all off of it. So I'm going to throw in, or I'm going to scientifically measure out 3 handfuls. Scientifically. I might go for 4. Anyone say I go for 4? I think somebody out there, Johnny in the back, he said to go for 4. So okay. What else we have? We have the cloves. Maybe after I turn the camera off, I'll put some ginger in. It's just a couple of shakes of this. Doesn't look like I used too much of it because I have so much of it left. Kind of an interesting idea to take the cloves and stick them into an orange. That's Simba. He wants to make sure everybody knows that he's here. Star of Anise. Star of Anise looks like that. Suppose there's a grounded up version of it. Star of Anise gives you that licorice taste. Anthony's organic ginger. Kind of a liberal amount. Anything left? We've got a bag left that doesn't have anything in it. I'll have to reorganize my bucket. And then we have our mint. So another scientific measurement here. Be enough. I don't know if you can see inside the bag. That's what it looks like in the bag. Put it in the bag. There's a rap song that my daughter likes called something with put it in the bag. And that's it. So we're going to put some water in this. So we're going to let that simmer out and we will see how we do. So we're going to bring you back at the hourglass and we're going to check this stuff out. In the meantime, I'm going to add some simmer it on the stove on a low flame, the lowest flame, and alrighty, we are back. Same day, different shirt. I'm not big on tie-dyeing my best shirt. It's not my best shirt, but it's one of my favorite shirts. As you know, because you see me in my red shirt all the time. So I changed over to something else. We're going to open up some... Hey, let me put my glasses on. Oh! So I got this honey at I have a jar of honey that my nephew sent me, but I'm saving that for a special occasion that he produced from his own hives. So this actually I got from Target, organic wildflower. It had a pretty good rating. As Ohio. You really don't know. I used to use BJ's, and I was reading the comments, and it said that it contains 50% sugar. And I bet it's not cane sugar. It's probably the white sugar that's from beets. Which you wouldn't normally think that was healthy. But I bet it isn't. Now, you know that saying I have, do as I tell you, not necessarily how I do. I'm going to like kind of cheat in my process. I used to have a very elaborate process, but it's not so elaborate anymore. You could do is put some cheesecloth in a colander over another pan, and then take and transfer the liquid over so you get out all the stuff. And it's not a bad idea to do that. It just takes more time, it takes more space. It's a whole lot harder to shoot on video because there's more things required. Now the other way to do it is to have a colander, line it with some cheesecloth, and then transfer it over into another pot, and then tie up the stuff and squeeze out the excess and maybe let it drip. Just watched an interesting movie called Eagle Eye. I think it was 2008. And it was a pretty good movie. Worth watching, particularly considering how things are today in the world. The kid from Holes starred in it. He was also in the Crystal Skull, the Indiana Jones movie. Kind of a tedious method. I guess I'm a little off camera here. Kind of a tedious way to do it, but in the end it's going to be in the jars. It's not going to be in another pot and then another pot, and so this is more like a drink than it is a syrup, because for the consistency is, but it's been working for me. I've read some reviews about elderberry, and it says that it contains arsenic, which might be the reason why you can't eat it raw. But interesting enough, apple seeds also have arsenic in them. So, and we eat those. stories about elderberry, and that it doesn't actually help you with colds and flu. But it's interesting. Alrighty. So, right now we have about 3 quarts. I think we can get another 3 quarts out of this. Will give us 6. For some reason in my mind I thought I was going to get 12, but I don't think I'm getting 12. So, yeah. This is basically how you do it. It's not that hard. The hardest part is finding the elderberries. And it's really easy to find elderberry, it's really easy to find elderberry berries, flowers, but I don't think they have the same potency as the berry. That's just me. So there are suppliers out there that sell the other, but yeah. But you'll have to go online and look and see if you get the best price. But I've seen it basically $25 per pound. But if you can take half of that, 8 ounces, and make up, 6 jars, quart jars, that's a pretty good amount. And you can take it every day or every other day. Do a shot or a gulp. I like a gulp, but you can do a shot. And the thicker it is, the thicker it is. But that's all up to you. Have fun making your elderberry syrup. And until next time, learn to make things yourself. Ta-ta!